Plaintiff Antonio Pizzino dated the defendant, and he claims while together, the defendant cheated on him with his witness. Antonio says after the defendant kicked him out of his home, he refused to return Antonio's belongings, so he's suing. Defendant Sean Mathis says while living together, Antonio posted online ads propositioning men for sex. Sean claims he had cameras set up in his home, and he also caught Antonio having sex with other men in his bed. He's countersuing for damaged property.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I met Sean Mathis about 10 years ago. Just to let you know right away, the person he's with is the person that he actually cheated on me with before we broke up.
You caught him?
No, I did not. He told me the day he broke up with me.
That's a lie, Your Honor. This is all news to me. I don't even know what he's talking about, to be honest with you.
He said the guy, your witness today, is who you ran off with when you were going with him. Now, is that clear?
That is completely untrue, Your Honor.
All right, then. Go ahead.
I obviously thought he was a different person than he is.
When did you all meet and begin dating and all that?
Well, we met each other about 10 years ago. We hit it off very well. A couple times we met and he disappeared. Come to find out I was not unable to find him because he was in jail. And then I got married, gave up looking for him. Marriage didn't go too well, so I got filed for a divorce, and when the process was going through, I ended up seeing him with a mutual friend of ours, and we hit it off again.
What year was that?
That was last year, 2015, around November.
How things go from there?
Off and on, we were seeing each other. Divorce was processed and finalized.
Your divorce?
Yes. Then I moved in with him in January.
Of 16?
Yes. When I moved in with him in January, I moved all my belongings into his home. Things went well for a while, but he became insecure because there's a couple things I did not tell him about myself, and he found out on his own about, so he did not believe anything I would say anymore and was suspected.
Were they big issues?
I didn't see them as was. I didn't think they were relevant at the time because they were in the past. And so he began not to trust me and would question anything I would do, or question my time and how long it would take me to get home and why I wasn't home at this time. And he didn't believe that in the middle of a snowstorm that it would take me 3 hours to get home from Buffalo when it's an hour and 10-minute drive. And
that must have been a big lie you told him early on. Sir, you'll give me some background.
I had met Antonio, like you said, 10 years ago. Very briefly, wasn't really into it then. We reconnected back in September of last year. We hit it off in the beginning. He was a great guy in the beginning, so I thought. And then everything kind of went downhill from that point. He definitely was responding and posting ads on Craigslist, propositioning other guys for sex.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
I actually seen it. On top of that, I had a video camera set up, and I actually had seen some pictures of him having sex in my bed.
That's
while
also a lie,
I'm in
Your
school,
Honor.
having sex with other guys in my bed, in my
This is the
apartment.
first time you've heard this?
Yes.
This is the first time you've heard this? I don't believe you, sir. If you were going to tell this lie, you've told it for a while the way you sound. But he acts like this is the first time he's hearing it.
Plaintiff Antonio Pizzino is suing his ex-boyfriend, who claims while they were together, Antonio was posting online ads propositioning men for sex.
Go ahead.
Throughout our whole relationship, he was, selling drugs, using drugs.
What type of drugs?
Meth. And like I said, I was here, trying to get an education, going to school, and I allowed him.
Tell me this big lie he's scared to tell us. Things in his past that he told you.
Everything that came out of his mouth. I mean,
okay.
I started finding all sorts of different stuff out.
Okay. Tell me about your property you're suing him about, sir.
When he asked me to leave, I did take all the stuff I was able to. I was able to secure a truck at the last minute notice that he gave me.
You took that video camera.
And I left my refrigerator, my stove, my deep freezer, my Xbox 360 so he could watch TV.
Tell me, did you all have a confrontation that caused you to leave?
We were continuing to try to work things out, but he asked me to leave.
And then what happened?
I made an agreement with him to keep my bigger items because I was unable to secure a truck at the time, which was my refrigerator, stove, deep freezer, Xbox 360 so he could watch TV still because I took my Apple TV with me. An end table and a dresser, which totaled $29.98.
All right, let me see your list. And how long ago was that?
That was in April.
All right, and have you attempted to retrieve them?
Yes, I did. I slept over on May 2nd and May 3rd. He presented me with paperwork asking me to break into PayPal for him and transfer money from other people's accounts, and I refused. So he threw me out. I thought he would cool off. I was on my way home in Buffalo when he said, you can get all your stuff out by Friday too. Okay. I called him back and I said, I do something better than that. I'll get a truck today and get some friends and we'll get the stuff out.
Did you?
I got a truck and secured a truck.
With no friends?
With the friends.
You had friends to help?
I had 3 friends come with me to help me move this stuff out, including my son, who's here today.
All right.
And
what happened?
When
you
I got
get
there,
all your things?
When I got there, he acted like he wasn't there and would not open the door, even though he texted me as I said I'm on my way.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Okay, so what did you do?
I continued to knock on the door. The police were called. I told the police that I did reside here and showed them the utility bills that were in my name. And New York State, if I reside there, I'm able to break in on my own. So the officer gave me a crowbar out of his own trunk, which I have a police report for.
Let's see it. And you went in, and what happened?
I managed to get through the front door, the porch door actually, and was unable to get through the secondary door.
How about getting your things? Let's get to that.
Okay. I was able to retrieve my aquarium. He allowed me to take my aquarium.
What about these things you're suing for today? Why weren't you able to get the refrigerator and the stove, which are the 2 most costly items, and then the Xbox? Why weren't you able to get those things?
Because at the time he was telling the officers that that they were gifts, and they were not.
All right, sir, why don't you give me an account of what he just said?
We had actually set a date, May 23rd, for him to come and pick up his things because I did give him a 30-day notice to get out. It wasn't all of a sudden 2 hours or whatever he had claimed. He never showed up on that date.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Let him finish. He never said a word.
He never showed up
while
on
you were
that date, so then I believe it was the 3rd of May. He actually showed up unannounced. Didn't even tell me that he was coming, and I would not let him in the apartment. But considering that the electricity bill was in his name, the cops pretty much gave him permission to break in.
What happened when he got in?
After he broke 3 windows and 3 doors, getting in to my apartment, I told him that he's allowed to take the cat and the things that were actually his, but the refrigerator and the stove were going to stay, like we arranged in the beginning.
Tell me about that arrangement.
The refrigerator and the stove, I had a refrigerator and a stove there. He wanted to move that in. He said, to help pay towards the rent.
What about yours?
Mine worked fine, but in order for him to live there, move in and everything, that he wanted those because they were nicer.
What did you do with yours?
Front porch, and they're still there.
And why are you keeping his then, if you already have a set? Why don't you even give him your old ones?
Because they were gifts, Your Honor, and as far as...
All right, what about the old ones? Why won't you give him those? They're still on the porch.
The reason why I didn't give him anything else is because I'm waiting for him to pay for the damages for him breaking into my apartment before I return those things.
Okay, so you're withholding his property until he pays for the damages.
Plaintiff Antonio Pizzino is suing his ex-boyfriend, who claims while they were together, Antonio was posting online ads propositioning men for sex.
And that's the damages of what? To the windows, you said? This is your counterclaim.
3 windows, 3 doors, a door frame. I have pictures, and I also
an estimate.
I also have an estimate as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Estimate.
Did he pay rent?
No, he did not.
Did you pay rent?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
How much?
Half of everything. And I actually paid the utilities, and he didn't pay any of the utilities.
Is that correct?
I would give him money.
That is not correct, Your
I
Honor.
would give him money, and he would not pay them. I found out after I moved out that he didn't pay anything on the light bill of any of the cash that I gave him.
He unnecessarily broke 2 windows in the process. Door frame.
Because he had been locked out.
Well, at that point, he had already been moved out of the apartment for over 30 days before that.
He hadn't gotten his things out. And you had not evicted him. And if he hadn't gotten his things out and you hadn't evicted him, doesn't consider himself having moved, or do you?
No, sir.
All right. And yeah, the locks were changed and he had to break in. That means he didn't expect for the locks to be changed. Otherwise, he wouldn't have tried to break in. I don't know who's being honest with me about either of these things. He said that you moved in and you gave him a refrigerator and stove. He put his own on the porch, and it's still on the porch, but he doesn't want you to have either, yours or his.
Your Honor, I'd be more than willing to give him back the refrigerator
I know
and
you
stove.
would. Now that you hear you're about to be ruled on.
No, I was
Now that you hear this ruling creeping up on you, I know you would. I'm going to grant you your judgment, $2,737. You want $2,998. I'm granting you $200 less, $200 or so less, and then I'm going to grant yours for the damaged property. Yes. What do you want to say, sir? Give me all you want. So what do you want to say?
I actually attempted to start repairs on the stuff on my own. I did do repairs already on the main door, so he was safe.
And how much was that for?
Change.
Your Honor, he's not been back
212?
over to my apartment since
All
the
right.
cops came with him
And
that one day.
$2,737 minus $212.
$25.25.
All right. So he owes you $25.25, sir. That's your judgment, and $27.37 is yours. You gentlemen have a good day.
I don't got anything to say to him right
Of course
now.
he doesn't. He's a liar.
I'm flabbergasted by the way that I got involved, honestly, and surprised, so I don't really have much to say either.